Call Opening Skill Part 2, brought to you by Hospitality Marketing Solutions. Find us on the web at www.hospitalitymarketingsolutions.com. In our previous modules, you reviewed how important it is to respond to a customer inquiry in a timely manner. You've also reviewed how critical it is to get a sales conversation off on the right foot by gathering the program specification. So far, these activities could be described as order taking. It is the active salesperson who transitions the conversation from the basics to active selling. Enter your call opening skill. To illustrate the importance of the call opening skill, think about having friends over for dinner. You don't open the door and then immediately usher them to the table to start eating, do you? No, you typically would segue with conversation or appetizers. The call opening skill is the art of segueing into your active sales effort, when you will qualify the client's needs and then sell them on why your product or service is just what they are looking for. Once you've greeted the caller, exchanged pleasantries, and gathered the specs, you take charge. Set a plan of action for the call. You might not realize the subtlety of this, but it can have a powerful impact on how the client views you and your abilities from early in the sales process. For example, if you let the client lead the conversation, you're always mentally playing catch up and trying to remember what you need to ask next. Setting the agenda for the call puts you in control of the conversation and transitions the conversation toward your qualification effort. Think about the last meeting you attended. Did it have an agenda? If it didn't, you probably found that it was difficult to stay on track. Well, a sales call is no different. Your agenda defines what you want to accomplish during the call. Since the call opening skill sets up your qualification effort, 99.9% of the time, your agenda should be to ask questions, learn more, and explore possibilities. For example, you might set the agenda saying something like this: Carla, I would like to ask you a few questions about your program. It's also really important to point out here that setting an agenda is only the first step toward a successful call opening statement. In order to prompt the customer to answer your questions, you have to point out why it benefits them. The client will be more likely to agree to your agenda if they understand that there is a tangible value associated with the conversation. To continue with our example, you would say something like this: Carla, I would like to ask you a few questions so that I can send a customized proposal. Even the most seasoned and well-meaning salesperson sometimes starts the conversation with a strong agenda such as this: I'd like to ask you some questions to find out about your program. However, this opening statement omits the critical motivator, the WIFM, WIIFM, what's in it for me. The customer will be more likely to accept your agenda if you let them know what's in it for them. It's also important to be mindful that you could come across as self-serving if your value statement focuses on what's in it for you. For example, you would want to avoid statements like this: I'd like to ask you a few questions to understand your needs. This example implies that the salesperson is going to ask questions to increase their understanding, while the customer gains nothing from this discussion. Remember, the value statement is customer-centric. Since you're in the hospitality industry, you want to be hospitable. That's where the third step of your call opening statement comes into play. You want to check to make sure that the customer has indeed accepted your agenda and the corresponding value. To complete our example, you might say this: Carla, I would like to ask you a few questions so that I can send you a customized proposal. Is that okay with you? Checking for acceptance is a skill step that is woven throughout several of the need satisfaction selling skills. It's really the best way to stay in touch with your customer. You would also want to consider that the customer may have an agenda of their own. Making sure that you check for acceptance will give the customer the opportunity to let you know what they want to get out of the call. You may discover that you are melding your agenda with that of the customer, but you would never be able to do that if you did not ask. So to sum up, your call opening skill transitions you from being an order taker who focuses only on the customer's specs and requirements to an active salesperson who launches a dynamic qualification effort. Your call opening skill puts you in control of the conversation. The summary of the 3 skill steps are 1. Setting an agenda. 2. State the value of the agenda. And 3. Check for acceptance. Remember, all 3 steps work together to engage the customer and to demonstrate your interest in the total business opportunity and not just the singular program requirements. Using the complete call opening skill requires consistency to sound fluid and conversational. However, with practice, this skill will certainly advance the sales conversation and give your customer confidence that they are working with someone who is genuinely interested in the business relationship.